evening, TDN listeners and viewers to This Week in Interview. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Interview with your host and guide, Anthony Drago. I hope you're having a really wonderful week so far. It is Wednesday, September the 6th. This year is just racing by. And so welcome to you. I hope that if you celebrated Labor Day, that you had a wonderful time and that everything was safe. And if you didn't, that you just enjoyed the time off. That's for those of us in North America. And those of us who are back in the Caribbean, I just hope that your week is going well. And so far, so good in terms of the hurricane and storm season. Tonight, we are discussing health, men's health. And those of you who are regular listeners to This Week in Interview know that is one of the topics that I like to discuss and to present to you. So stay tuned, grab something to drink if you need it. In the meantime, I want you to send a message, send the live to at least 5 people, each of you to 5 people. Let them know that we're having a tremendous discussion on This Week in Interview tonight. We are going to be talking about the month of September being Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back, and I hope you remembered to share the like and share the link and invite your folks to listen and share This Week in Interview with us. To my regular listeners who are here every Wednesday, I want to tell you thank you for being with us, for making the time, and for coming back every Wednesday. The link is on the screen, link.tree//TDN network. If you send that, they can choose whichever way they want to listen, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or TDN TV, or they can listen on TDN Radio, Instagram. There are a number of different platforms that you can find This Week in Interview on. And tonight's topic is extremely, extremely important. So if one of the times you don't take me seriously when I say to share the link, I want you to really do it tonight. You might be saving the life of someone that is special to you, or just saving the life of someone. If tonight is the first time that you're listening to This Week in Interview, welcome. I hope that you like what you hear and what you see enough that you will come back and become a regular listener to This Week in Interview. Special shout out to those in Dominica. If you're listening to us on RVR Jams Radio on DigiPlay Channel 59, they carry This Week in Interview live. Also, Radio SBE, online radio in the Toronto market, carries This Week in Interview live. So good night to you if that is where you are. If you are following us on Facebook or YouTube or any one of the other channels where you can like us, that would be great. So like us, subscribe so you can know when the programs are coming on. You can get a notification if you hit the bell that says send me notifications, because you know we always bring you really great information on This Week in Interview. Contemporary topics, but we bring it to you differently. We look at it, we peel back the skins of the onion, so to speak. And so I like to think that what we do on This Week in Interview is different from what you would find if you just click your mouse and go online or click your remote to watch your TV. So tonight we are discussing prostate cancer. The month of September has been declared Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And so tonight I have a very special guest. Mr. Patrick Henderson is my guest tonight. And I am so grateful that he accepted my invitation to come on, because he is one of the success stories. He is a survivor of prostate cancer, and he is well and healthy and strong. And so he is going to talk to us, straight from what we can consider to be ground zero, if you want to call it that. He has been in the kitchen, he has felt the heat, and he has been able to come back out and be able to tell us what it is that he attributes to his success in beating back um, a disease that many do not survive. The Cancer Foundation, Prostate Cancer Foundation, on their website, they say that 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. But they also have on there that a lot of men are misdiagnosed. And so our aim tonight is to really educate you, so that we can expel so much of the fears that you have around prostate cancer. Because when you are afraid of something, you hide from it, and then it can harm you. But if you inform yourself about it, you can collect the tools, you can build up your arsenal to beat it. And that is what we intend to help you to do tonight. So join me in giving a very warm welcome to my guest, Mr. Patrick Henderson. He is from Dominica. He lives in Dominica. He has a son and a grandson. He is married to his beautiful wife, as they say on which show they say that on the Steve Harvey show. They say, "I'm married to my beautiful wife." So he's married to his beautiful wife, Wendy Revere Henderson. Uh, Patrick holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Education with a concentration in Social Studies from Iona College in New Rochelle. And he also did his Bachelor of Science, the Bachelor of Arts there, his BA in Psychology and Sociology. He has experience as a teacher. He taught at the St. Mary's Academy. He worked in banking in New York while he was studying. He was a social studies tutor at the Dominica Teachers College. He has a lot of involvement in the community and youth development, the community and youth development worker with Save the Children USA in Dominica. He managed the Grand Bay Credit Union, and he's a consultant on community development. He's the associate Peace Corps director for Dominica. He serves on several boards, as a member of the National Council on Aging, the Dominica Planned Parenthood Association, the Dominica State College, Global Environmental Fund Small Grants Program in Dominica, Dominica Cancer Society, Development Alternatives, and Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union. He works with young people. He started the basketball program in Grand Bay and in Marigot, where he currently lives. So he's originally from Grand Bay in Dominica. He currently lives in Marigot. He was part of the pros basketball team sponsored by Bata in Grand Bay. And one of the reasons why he's here with us tonight is that he is a cancer survivor for the past 13 years. So, Mr. Henderson, good night. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come on as my guest. It's such a pleasure to have you on tonight. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, especially given that it's September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. It's an opportunity for us to spread the word and to encourage our men folk to get tested or checked, and encourage our women folk to encourage the men to go get checked because they can influence them also. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. And I know this fits right down your alley, because all of your bio, everything points towards community involvement.
That's right.
It just seems as though that is where you find your pleasure because that's what you studied for, and all of your activities, from the cooperative credit union to sports to council of the aging to all of cancer society, all of that seems to speak to someone who is passionate about your community and the people in your community. So I'm happy that we're able to provide you with one more um, pulpit from where you can interact and educate your people. So I know I gave you a really comprehensive. I say comprehensive, but I know a man with all of these accomplishments that must just be the tip of the iceberg, you know. So what else do you want? Is there anything else that you would like my audience to know about Mr. Patrick Henderson?
Well, I don't know. Just to go back and say that when you're reading my education thing, it's a master's in education,
Master Science
and
in Education. Uh-huh.
yes, you said a bachelor's, so it's fairly correct. Right?
No, I said master. Well,
Oh,
okay.
sorry. Yeah,
Right. So let's
just
let's
minor.
clarify. So go ahead and clarify. It's a
No,
Master of Science in
in
Education with a
education,
specialization in social
yes,
studies.
and
Right.
a double major bachelor's in sociology and psychology.
Or you have a double major in
Right,
bachelor's at the bachelor's level in
right,
psychology
and
and
sociology.
and sociology. So we need
That's
to
correct.
talk. I need to bring you back on the program. Um, because one of the things that fascinates me, especially in the last 10 years,
Mhm,
is the way human beings make decisions and
mhm,
how, on the face of it, it seems that they're making decisions that may not be in their best interest. So I
mhm.
want you to come back. Let's talk about that part of your expertise.
Okay.
But tonight you're here because you are a 13-year survivor of prostate cancer.
Right.
Um, do you think of yourself as one of the lucky ones, or what do you attribute your ability to beat prostate cancer? What do you think were the main attributes that helped you in that fight?
Well, as we say, the motto is early detection is key.
Hmm.
So it was because of early detection that I am here today. I know of other people, friends of mine, who had late detection and are dead now.
Right.
Um, and my brother-in-law was one of them, still clear. And he knew that I had prostate cancer, but he never consulted me, never checked it. And
Hmm.
just kind of hid it and did not say anything. By the time he did take action, it was way too late.
It was great to listen.
So early detection is really the key to surviving prostate cancer. And prostate cancer is not a cancer that should kill you either. As Dr. Paul would say, it's one of the friendliest cancers you can ever come across.
If cancer can be friendly, right?
Yes, because again, as I said, it's early detection. If you can detect it early, then there is treatment. You can manage this, and you can live for your entire life with it, and don't have to die from it.
So you're saying that someone can be diagnosed with prostate cancer,
Mhm,
not and if they catch it early enough before it
mhm.
becomes aggressive, there's a very good, a high survival rate
Right.
if they right.
Yes.
Because I look at you, and I mean, most folks think of people who have survived cancer as maybe weakened or some kind of evidence that they've gone through severe medical trauma.
Mm.
But you look strong and healthy, and nobody would guess that if you didn't say so.
True. But I'll tell you though that when after I had my surgery, I remember um, I lost a little weight,
Hmm.
and I remember walking in town, and people would look at me funny because they realized that I lost some weight. And
Right.
I remember meeting a friend of mine, and he was coming towards me, and I knew he was thinking that way by the expression on his face. I said, "Okay, let me tell you what happened. I had prostate cancer, I had surgery, and that is why I lost some weight." He said, "Me too. I had surgery for prostate cancer too."
Oh wow.
But he never spoke about it. That's the problem.
Right.
I was willing to speak about it, but most people who do it, men, remain silent. They don't want
Why
it
is that?
to. I don't know. I guess I guess men tend to be very private. The machismo in us. We don't
Hmm.
want. It's almost as though it's a weakness. So we don't want people to know about it.
But also, so prostate cancer, from what I
I can't hear you.
again.
No, I'm not hearing you now. I'm not hearing you. I lost you. No, I'm not hearing you, Tony. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tony? I'm not hearing anything.
Presented by. People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
If you live in Canada, the US, and the UK and are looking for Dominica products including cocoa sticks, bay rum, coffee, soaps, crafts, and other popular Dominica items, then look no further. You can now shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, a secure, easy-to-navigate website selling a wide variety of Dominica-made and Dominica-inspired products. When you shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, you are helping to grow Dominica's economy. Go to BuyDominicaOnline.com and enjoy home away from home. Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that, guys. You know, sometimes the devil is in the technology. Um, but we're back. We're back. We lost audio for a minute. If you joined us before we started, my guest tonight is Mr. Patrick Henderson. Patrick is a survivor of prostate cancer, and the month of September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And so we decided that we would do the very first show of September to deal with that topic because it is so important. Those of you who are regular listeners to this weekend interview know that every year we try to bring you education on health. We bring prostate cancer information, breast cancer information, just general taking charge and taking responsibility for your health, and especially our men, because we get busy, we have all kind of hang-ups, and we don't take as much care of ourselves. So Patrick, right before we were unceremoniously interrupted, we were talking
Right.
about men being very reluctant. You were
Yeah.
saying about your friend who you met,
Mhm.
and you told him, you volunteered to him
Yeah.
that you had prostate cancer and you had surgery, and it's
Mhm.
only then that you learned about he was also a survivor of prostate cancer.
Right.
And what you said was that he did not say anything, but you decided to say something. Why is it that you decided that um, you would talk about your condition and what you went through?
Well, because there's nothing to hide about about cancer, whether it's prostate or breast, and other people who have breast cancers to hide it sometimes. There's nothing to hide about cancer. In fact, the more you talk about it, the more informed you get because you get information from other people. You can
Right.
share, and they share with you.
Hmm.
Um, as I said, the silence on the part of men, I think, tends to have to do with their personality, their machismo. They are not wanting people to know about their health.
Hmm. And especially when it comes to prostate health, because the prostate is associated with so many functions, including sexual function and sexual performance, including regulation of urine and urination. Men have a lot of shame associated with any symptoms of um, of any issue with your prostate. Is that something that you've encountered as you talk to more and more men
Yeah,
about prostate cancer?
yes, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, because men like to think it's old men that pee on themselves. Men like to think that, or if somebody knows I have prostate issue, they might extrapolate that to think that I have sexual function issues and all of those things. But like everything else, if you hide it, it's just going to get worse, right?
Yeah.
If for example, I know folks growing up in Castlebrooks, I know folks who have a sore. They're diabetic and they have a little sore on their leg,
Mhm.
and they keep it covered under their pants, and nobody knows they have a sore until they lose their leg.
Yeah.
I,
Or
I,
they die.
yeah, it's exactly, and so with prostate cancer, they die. So, what do you recommend, Patrick, that men do to take in front of something that's like their prostate health?
Well, it's a change. It's a behavior change we've got to try and encourage.
Hmm.
Um, Men are just not going to do it on their own. I think the health education unit, the Cancer Society, and those of us, in fact, we just formed a men's support group for men with prostate cancer. And those kind of organizations can be of great help in terms of educating the public, having PSAs out there, public service announcements, and those kind of programs that we're having right now,
Right.
where we can share more information, we can let them know that this is not something you got to hide. Um, we can also, I mean, we offer right now, they're offering PSAs at a reduced rate um, for men in Dominica during that month. So hopefully, with this announcement, some men will want to come out.
Right.
I must say to that, men have been coming out a little more, because I remember we had a drive a couple of years ago through the Cancer Society in collaboration with Ross University and the Ministry of Health, where we had a program where we went around the island and having men check their prostate through the digital rectal exam.
Mhm.
And we went from all to all the health centers throughout the island. And we must have covered almost 2,000 men. Very
Wow.
the number who came out, really. So it's changing. It's a slow process. Behavior change is slow, but I think we're making progress on that.
So that says that if we educate, there is an impact.
Yes, most definitely.
We have knowledge. So you mentioned a PSA test. You mentioned digital rectal exam. Can you
Right.
talk about those two types of tests that you are encouraging men to do and how regularly they should be doing it, from what age they should start doing it and all of that?
Okay, well, let me take it from my own experience. I'm not a doctor, I'm just an ordinary citizen
Exactly.
here.
Right.
So I started getting my prostate checked, PSA and digital rectal exam in my 40s.
Right.
In fact, it was after the death of my younger brother, Lambert, that's Michael Henderson's father.
Mm.
He was 43 and he developed colon cancer, and that killed him.
Wow.
Again, late detection.
Right.
Now, so after this happened, Dr. Paul, we started talking a little more about it, and we started going back and say, okay, is there anybody else in your family who had prostate cancer, who had cancer? And I began reflecting and say, yeah, there has been there has been breast cancer in my family, and there has been prostate cancer. I have three other brothers who, I think it's three of them who died of prostate cancer, and I have three others who had prostate cancer and had their prostate removed. So
Wow.
it was a wake up call for me. And I decided, okay, we're going to have to check this thing every year. So every year at my general checkup with Dr. Paul, he did the rectal exam and I did a PSA. And we monitored it. And when we saw that it had gotten up to 4.5, he said, when he felt the prostate with DR, he said he can feel something grainy on it, which means something is changing. So we're going to have to do a biopsy. So he sent me to do a biopsy. And the biopsy results came back that yes, there was prostate cancer.
Wow.
So then we had to decide, okay, where do we go from there? And we can talk a little about that.
Right. 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 So just for folks who may not, the PSA that you talk about, the PSA is a blood test.
Right. It's a blood test that you do, and I mean, Lafayette is the place that does it the most. Or you could
Mhm.
do it at the health center also.
Mhm.
What it does, it the PSA, our PSA is supposed to be anywhere between 0 and let's say 4
Mhm.
is okay. But once it gets past 4, then it means something is happening to the prostate.
Right.
We're not too sure what it is. Because a PSA won't tell you that you have cancer. A PSA will tell you that something is happening to the prostate,
Right.
and you need to look further into it.
Mhm.
So one of the ways of looking further into it is to do the digital rectal exam, where you can actually feel it, and see if it's enlarged or if it's grainy, as mine was.
Right.
You could do an ultrasound to look at it and see whether it's growing. Um, and they can also do, well, as I said, the what do you call it? The
Biopsy.
biopsy,
Yeah.
which will tell you whether or not the thing is cancerous. For most men, what they find out is that after doing all of this is that it's an enlarged prostate, not prostate cancer. For
Right.
most men,
For most men, because
yes,
as men get older, it is considered normal that your prostate increases in size,
right,
slight
right,
increases in size,
right. That you
and so
develop.
an enlarged prostate doesn't necessarily mean prostate cancer,
No,
but it's a reason to check.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just so we have to demystify it, so folks can really understand, and so from what I understand is that the the tube that carries urine from your bladder out into your penis so you
Right.
can pee out passes through the prostate or just
No,
along the
no.
prostate.
The prostate is close to it.
Right,
So when the prostate gets enlarged, then it squeezes the urethra
right,
and begins to block the passage of
right,
the urine going from the bladder to the
right.
outside.
It's like you have your hose and you water in your garden and a car is driving past and the car stops on top of the hose.
Right.
It's going to create, most likely the water will stop or it will run very slowly
Slowly.
or
Right.
so a lot of men, as you get older, you notice that the strength of your urine stream is not as strong as it was
That's
when
right.
you were a little boy.
Hmm.
I remember as a little boy growing up in Castlebrooks, I used to go in the garden and we were burning grass and stuff in the garden. My pleasure was to stand up and pee on the fire,
Right.
and but which means that your stream had to be strong enough that you're far enough from the fire, you don't really hit, but you can pee
Hmm.
on the fire.
Right.
And as you get older, of course, you lose that
That's right.
ability to project your urine further out. So
Hmm.
those are some of the symptoms. It doesn't
It,
mean that you're sick, but it just means that you have to be aware of those changes and then go
right.
to your doctor to confirm that everything is okay or there is something to monitor, something to take care of. Right?
Yeah. And the fact that the urethra is kind of squished could result in bleeding.
Right.
So you could find that there's some blood in your urine also.
Right. So all of those are the signs. So a weakening of your urine stream,
Hmm.
maybe some blood in your urine starts and stops.
Yeah.
Urine splits, it doesn't come out in one steady stream, it comes out in two or it splits. All of those are indications that
Yeah.
your prostate might be becoming enlarged, and not because your prostate is becoming enlarged that it means that you have cancer, but it means that you should go to your doctor. Because even on your enlarged prostate, you can get some relief from medication that might
Yes.
make it easier. Yeah,
They do give you medication to bring it down.
right. And so because of that compression of the urethra, um, sometimes when a man goes to the bathroom, he doesn't completely empty his bladder
Right.
because you feel the urgency, you go to pee, some comes out, but it is restricted. And you will feel like you want to stand up there for half an hour until everything drains out. So you leave. And after you leave, some pee will then make it way out, and you see that you have urine stain on your pants. You might see a little wetting. And men have so much shame associated with that, something that is
Mm.
completely not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you have frequent urination too. Huh? You have these other symptoms, frequent urination,
Frequent urination.
or even back pain. Some
Right.
people get back pain.
Yeah, sometimes when you sit for long, you feel
Right.
pain when you sit for long because of that extra pressure. So folks, we are not
So
doctors, we are just men. And so we're talking to you about some of what we experience or some of what you may experience, and to say that if you are experiencing any of those things, you should definitely check with your medical doctor to see that not that everything is okay. Right?
having said that,
Yes.
you may not have any symptoms at all and still have prostate problems.
Yes.
Because for me, there was no outward symptom that indicated that something was wrong.
Oh, that's
It
important.
was a digital rectal exam,
Right. That's important.
that the grainy stuff and the fact that the PSA was rising. But to
Uh-huh.
say there was a physical um, symptom there that wasn't there at the time.
And I saw one of the members of the audience who probably is in the medical field was saying about, Sam, if you can put that note up from Didi again. She said prostate specific antigen, which is the PSA, is a protein produced by normal as well as malignant cells of the prostate gland. The PSA test measures the level of PSA in the blood. For this test, a blood sample is sent to a lab for analysis.
That's correct.
Yes. And so you were saying that don't wait to have symptoms to go check, because sometimes you have no
No,
symptoms and there's
right,
stuff going on.
right.
So therefore, how do you recommend that men um, manage that part of their health?
Well, I'm assuming that most of us men do our annual checkups with our doctor.
Okay.
And part of that annual checkup has to be, especially if you're in your late 30s and your 40s, starting there, that you do a regular PSA and a digital rectal exam every time, every year, and keep a record of it so you can monitor to see whether your PSA is rising or not.
Right. So men, I mean, nowadays we live in the information age. So ignorance is not an excuse. So what Patrick is saying is that as a person, you should monitor your health, because it's your body. You only have one body. There are very few spare parts that can be replaced if you lose it, and of course, even if something doesn't kill you, it can just make you suffer and make you miserable. So so we have technology. Monitor your health. Women know they have to do their mammogram and their breast exam regularly. They have to do their pap smear and whatever other tests that women have to do. Men, you too should do at least an annual checkup. If you're healthy, you should do at least an annual checkup once a year. Pick a month, maybe your birthday. Give yourself a gift for your birthday to go to the doctor and to do an annual checkup. And one of the things that you should be checking is your prostate. Let your doctor take a blood sample, find out what your PSA level is, have him do a rectal exam, and see if your prostate feels normal to him or her. I would mention as well that you say, because you said your brother died of colon cancer, and my listeners know that I'm always encouraging everybody, men and women, to do a colonoscopy at least once a year. Not once a year. If you do it, like if you do it and they find no polyps, you can do it every 5 years or so, whatever your doctor recommends. But
Recommend.
usually there's like a 4 or 5 year gap. I
Right.
do my colonoscopy um, every 4 years. The first time I did it, they found polyps, and so I had to go back after 3 years, and I have done probably four colonoscopies. Um, and what the doctor said to me was a polyp takes on average 7 years to develop into colon cancer. So if you do a colonoscopy every 4 to 5 years, it's almost impossible for you to die from colon cancer, because the polyps will be caught and removed before they become cancerous. And so that comes back to your point, Patrick. Early detection is the key.
That's correct.
Early detection is the key. So you said that you all form a men's support group.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. What is it about? How you can be reached, and so on.
Well, I don't know if we can. You can reach us through the Cancer Society right now.
Okay,
And since it was just formed, in fact, our first meeting will be next week,
it's
Wednesday.
fresh. Okay.
Yes, it's brand new. We had
Mhm.
tried before, it didn't work. This time, somehow it clicked
Okay.
after a meeting we had. So there are about, I would say, about 8 or more men who
Mhm.
have volunteered to be that group. And really, what we want to do is to focus on prostate cancer and putting the word out there, being a voice as well as a vehicle through which men can, can come and discuss their issues as it relates to prostate cancer. So, and it doesn't have to be um, you come into a group and discuss. It could be a one-on-one thing. So you
Right.
could contact whoever you feel comfortable with. The Cancer Society can give you a list of the members of the group, and you can choose any one of them you want, or more than one, to talk to about your situation. I mean,
Right.
right now we do it informally now. I mean, they do call me the Cancer Society would call me and tell me, well, there's this person who wants to talk about prostate problems. And then they'd call me and we would have a one-on-one discussion. So hopefully we'll get more and more of this now that we have the support group in place.
Right. That those groups are so important. I remember when I was growing up, my mother used to be in the Social League and the Sacred Heart Society, and the men used to be in Holy Name. There's a men's group called Holy Name Society, and the men in the village would come together on a Sunday, and they would plan activities around men, while the women do around women. And those groups were so critical to the quality of life. I remember that of our parents and the life that our parents were able to give us, because they would teach the women sewing and embroidery and winemaking and pepper sauce and backyard gardening. The men would come together, and because of that camaraderie, they would they would go build a boat for that person. This time they would help this person do their house, and they would help this other person, and so that was something that I grew up seeing the men around us, and so I commend you and your colleagues for trying to rekindle that spirit of camaraderie and among our men.
Thanks.
You say you can be contacted through the Dominica Cancer Society. I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, but do you remember the contact information by that? Or you have it close by?
No, I don't have it close by.
Not really. So
I can always send it.
we'll post it up. We have information on the Dominica Cancer Society. Yvonne Alexander is a very good friend of TDN.
What
And, yes.
I'm watching. These making a good point there about the genetic mutation that
Sam, can you put it up?
many of us. I'll take me for example. I did not realize until, as I said, that death. I did not realize. There is cancer in the family, and
Right.
for us, many of us, we don't know because in the old days people died and we really don't know what it was, what they died of, and many
Right.
times it's cancer related. So it's important for us to find out now that the technology is available, what the situation is with our families. If there's a history of cancer in your family, then as you say, you've got to check earlier. Don't wait till you're 40. So
Right.
thanks
So
Lee, for that comment.
yeah. So the general recommendation is that men of African descent are checking from the age of 40. That's
Or even
correct, right?
earlier, even
But,
earlier.
right. And so she's saying that sometimes if you know there
The history.
is a history of somebody in your family having cancer, you should start to screen a little earlier. So it's all about management. It's all about management. So tell me about your diet. Do you
Uh,
have to take specific diet? Are there certain things you have to avoid? Those kind of things.
well, once I came through after the surgery, I started doing some reading and
Mm-hmm.
talking to people also, and began finding out more about what kind of foods help cancer cells grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have cancer cells in our body, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just that some of them will grow faster than others. And what I did was I decided I had to change my diet. I had to make some changes. I could not just continue laissez-faire, eating anything and drinking anything that you want as you want. When you're young, you do this, but as you grow older, you realize, I got to make some changes so that I would help. So I decided after doing some research, reading, and talking to some folks that I needed to cut out dairy from my diet. So I cut
Dairy.
out dairy completely. Yes.
No
Uh,
cheese, nothing with milk.
no, no. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can, if an occasional taste of it won't harm you, but if it
Right.
become a regular part of the diet, I think
Right.
it's good to cut this out.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar, but sugar can, I find that cancer cells love sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can starve them of that sugar, then that helps reduce the chances.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I began focusing more on fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, and reduce the amount of processed foods that I ate. So I moved away from canned foods. The only canned stuff that I eat now is like sardines.
Mhm.
That's about it. Um, I moved away from carbonated drinks, so I don't drink Coke or any of these bottled drinks that
Soda.
you see. I don't drink those things. I try to filter my water as much as possible. Um,
You filter
I,
it
co-
with the
I
intention of what, removing chlorine from it, or
moving chlorine from it, yes, and
oh,
other things. I I began teas. I began drinking a lot of green tea and other natural teas. So, for example, here in Dominica, where you have a lot of natural stuff, you should just use it. You don't use it enough. You should
orange
use it.
leaf,
Orange leaf,
lemongrass, anything.
sour
So
sop is
sub leaf,
very.
yeah.
I use sour sop all the time. In fact, I have 3 leaves there for me to go draw in a while. I ate a sour sop this morning. Lemon. I use lemon a lot also.
Mm.
When it's available. A lemon in the morning. I would draw. I take a lemon, cut it up, and draw some water. Draw it in some warm water, and then drink it first thing in the morning
Just,
on an empty stomach. Yeah.
warm water.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That helps also. What else
So
have
you
I done?
avoid
Oh,
bread, rice, and those things, or you
I
just
have cut down on bread considerably. I can't tell you when last I. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Once in a while, I'll have some bread,
okay?
but sometimes I've just used some green bananas and either boil it or roast it up and plantains or breadfruit instead of
It's such healthy
of bread.
alternatives to bread.
Yeah, yep. What else do I? Oh, exercise. Exercise is
Yeah, that's what I was
important.
going to
So
ask you about next, but go ahead.
yeah, I still play
Mhm.
basketball.
You
I
still
love
play
my
basketball?
basketball.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. In fact, I'm hoping to go Saturday to go play at Marigot with the guys. So
Okay.
I do that, and also reducing your stress level, critical. Because stress, as you know, brings on other chemical reactions in the body that could affect your health, including your cancer.
What techniques
So
do you use? What do you do to reduce stress? When you say you reduce stress, what does that mean? What do you mean?
well,
Do you meditate? What do you do?
no, I don't. No, I don't. But I know I use music as a
Okay.
stress reliever.
Hmm.
Just go to play sports as a stress reliever also.
Right.
And but it's not something that you get up on one and decide, okay, I'm going to live stress free. No, it's an ongoing thing. It's a work in progress that you gradually learn ways and means of reducing stress, looking at things that stress you out, why they stress you out, and how to overcome them. And just putting yourself in situations where you are experiencing less stressful um, things
Right.
in life.
Right. Right.
So it's an ongoing thing. It does not mean that you're stress free. It's just
Right.
that over time you learn how to reduce it, overcome it.
How to manage it. So
Yes.
you're talking about physical activity, and of course you're lucky to be healthy, well, not lucky, but you've managed your life in such a way that you can still play basketball. But for
Yeah.
somebody who may have bad knees or bad back or who not agile enough to play a sport, simply walk once a day,
Walking.
walking.
Yeah. Yeah. Walking is important. I mean, apart from cancer. I remember my
Hmm.
mother-in-law. My mother-in-law died at 101.
Hmm.
And one of her secrets was that she kept active.
Right.
So at 100, she was still outside sweeping her yard and doing her thing, resting when necessary, and so on. And
Right.
that kept her going. So the body needs the exercise. So we need to be
Right.
active. Being
Right.
active is important.
Right. And the physical activity releases chemicals that
That's right.
actually help you to reduce stress, right?
That's correct.
So we get in the recipe, folks. Yeah.
Yes. And
And
I remember
what might work for you? So, for example, you use
exactly.
music. Somebody else might go to church.
That's
Somebody
right.
else might go to the river.
That's
Somebody
right.
else might sit down in the night and watch the moon. Somebody might read a book. You have to decide. You have to determine what is it that relaxes you,
Yeah.
and do more of that. Do more of the things that you enjoy. If you have a problem, don't let the problem keep you from doing things that you enjoy.
Yeah, the same thing with diet and so on. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another.
Right.
So you've got to sometimes experiment with things and see which ones work best for you. I use a lot of moringa too. Moringa and what's the other one? I remember the name right now.
And is it
But
named moringa,
no, no, it's a powder. It's like curry. Turmeric,
turmeric? Okay.
yeah, and ginger.
And
Turmeric and
ginger.
ginger. I use a lot of this stuff. Yes.
I had Joseph Peltier on my show
Ah,
of
yes,
maybe about a year and a half ago,
right.
and he was talking about it. And he actually has a product.
Yes, he's my
Um,
supplier.
he's your supplier. Okay.
That's right.
Mine too. Mine too.
Okay.
Yeah, I whenever somebody's coming up from Dominican, he usually bring me some of his products. He pulverizes
Right.
turmeric and moringa. He has one with guava, and
Right.
he has ginger as well in there. And he was talking about he was a chemist at Ross University that helped him work out a
Okay.
formula for it because he was diagnosed with an enlarged prostate
That's
as
it.
well. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So folks, yeah, I mean it's simple if we do it, if we manage it. Watch what you eat, take a walk once in a while or every day. Um, Maybe push yourself a little bit, not go break your leg or but like if you go for a walk, don't just take your time and walk as slow as you can go. Try to go a little bit. Try to put a little stress
Yeah.
in the physical activity that's going to cause a little bit of a challenge. Um, and all of that, make sure you check with your doctor. Let your doctor help you to determine what is healthy for you to do, what is healthy for you to eat. So, for example, we talk about turmeric and ginger, but we know ginger is a blood thinner. So, if you have a condition that causes you to at risk of bleeding, you don't want to take ginger. So, all of what we're saying to you, as my guest, Mr. Patrick Henderson is saying, it's different for everybody. You have to tweak it and fine tune it to your own needs. So check with your doctor, work with your nurse, your healthcare provider, and come up with a plan for yourself. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And reach out for help. The Dominica Cancer Society is one of the most vibrant organizations in Dominica. I receive notifications and updates from Dominica Cancer Society practically every day. So I would encourage everybody to contact them, give them your phone number. They send out flyers every so often. They have radio programs. Support them too, because what
Yeah.
they do requires resources to support them as well. So
Yeah.
as we approaching the end of the interview, Patrick, uh, one of the things that we highlighted was the need for information. How is that going in Dominica? How, from your experience in the communities and so on, are you seeing more people being willing to talk about those medical conditions and discuss what can be done?
I'm not sure, quite honestly. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not out there
Mm-hmm.
observing that much, but
Mm-hmm.
um, when I look at the community, for example, where I live, um, and the younger generation, they they don't seem to be again because they maybe because they are young. When you're young, you're young and restless, and you just live your life.
You're busy.
Right. So topics like that is another kind of topics that that's attractive to them. It's only when you start getting a little older then it starts sinking. So I don't know. Part of it is perhaps age brings reason and
Mm-hmm.
wisdom, and as we grow older, we begin to focus more on our health. Um, but I don't hear there is not much going on in terms of, for example, this is prostate cancer month,
Right,
but there's nothing in the community that indicates that there's prostate cancer month.
right, right.
I don't know how much is going on the radio. I don't know how much the Ministry of Health is doing.
Mm-hmm.
There has been no address from let's say the Ministry of Health to say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're launching prostate cancer month. Maybe
Right.
the reason I don't know, but from where I stand there, I'm not with them.
Right. And if you don't know, maybe there's a certain portion of the community that also doesn't know. So you see, so
Yeah.
there is a need for more of that awareness. And
Yes,
I guess
and
also a lot of these community activities to take place around the church, and maybe less people go to
right.
church now.
Yeah, that too. Although we one of the during the discussion of the men and the prostate cancer month issue and
Hmm.
advocacy, we talked about sending a message to the churches and have
Okay.
them put something out there for us
Right.
during that.
Right.
So we will be doing this kind of outreach to the churches, to the private sector, to the unions, other organizations, sports, and so on,
Right.
just to reach out to them and do some sensitization on the issue. I think
Because,
one of them we probably should do and we didn't is the National Youth Council and the youth.
right.
I mean, it's true they're not on that age yet, but we need to start. We need to start reaching out to the much younger generation, even in the schools. I
Yes.
think we need to start educating the young ones now about those things, not wait till they're adults um, to start sensitizing them to these issues.
And the benefit is that if you tell it to the kids go home and they tell it to their parents, and they help
They're
their parents take care of themselves.
they're great. They are great advocates for things like
Yes.
that. They're a good
Yes.
pressure group on parents. Yes,
So,
definitely.
so what I would say is that, Patrick, this forum is always available. Okay, this
Yes,
forum is always available. Our resources are always available. Um, we, as you said, Dominica Cancer Society are great friends of ours. Spearheaded by Yvonne. She's come on. She's brought members on a few times. And she always sends notices to us
yes.
of what's going on. And so I want to thank you
My pleasure.
for what you do. I want to thank you for what you do, for all you do in the society. I see one of my friends, Sharon Sharon Dennis Rose, she says, great information. There's a lot of comments that say great information. And so people like us have to be reminded and to keep it fresh
Yeah.
in mind. I will tell you, when I started when we started doing that, it's probably about 6 or 7 years ago, when we more than that. I did a program on, just like we're doing tonight, prostate cancer. And about 2 months later, one of my listeners sent me a message and says, I think you probably saved my life, because after I listened to your program, I went to my doctor and he sent me immediately to the hospital to have
Wow.
surgery.
Voila.
Yeah. And so he says, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't go to the doctor at that time, but I know when I went to him, it was urgent enough that I did, from his office, he went directly to the hospital and had surgery. So it must have been serious. And so that is why we want to do this. We want to educate. We want to educate our loved ones um, about it. And we want to take care of ourselves. And I'm here and I'm preaching it, but I can tell you, I do a colonoscopy every year. And I have done about, not every, I do colonoscopy, I've done about 4 or 5 colonoscopies. And I do a prostate exam at least once a year. And just before we close, I want to really talk about that test, because a lot of men they hear stories and they're afraid because the doctor is going to put their finger up in the rectum and so on. It's quick. It takes, I don't know, 5 seconds. If all
Less
that,
than that. Less.
less than that. The
I'll
doctor
give you.
goes into your rectum, he gets to your prostate, and he passes his hand over it to make sure that the surface is smooth, and he can gauge the size to know if it's enlarged or not. That's it.
I'll give you a story about this, as you said that time. When we were doing this, the DRAs with Ross University and the Ministry of Health, we were at the hospital in Roseville, and this guy walked in and he said, my girlfriend sent me here.
Hmm.
So we started chatting, and you know what happened to him? He was afraid of doing this thing. So
Hmm.
his girlfriend told him, I have a friend at the hospital. I want to send a message to her or him. take this message to the hospital at the hospital for her or him. So he
Mm-hmm.
took the message to the hospital. When he got there, the girlfriend called him and said, "Oh, by the way, I set up an appointment for you to do your DRE." So that's how we ended up there.
You had to trick him
So,
into
right.
doing it.
So
Isn't that something
he
else?
went and he did it. And when he came out, I said, "How was it?" He said, "Oh, it was easy, man." I said, he was scared about it, and it was so simple. He said,
Right,
"Now you need to go and tell." He worked on the pot. He said, "Now you need to go talk to your buddies on the pot and tell them how simple it was for you."
right,
So
right,
his fear was gone.
right. And you know, it's important what we do now, what you and I are doing as men, because we experienced it and we're telling the men that we do it. I do it every year.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I don't like the result, I go to a different doctor and I do it. I do a repeat to get a second opinion. Um, I last year I had like a kidney stone and they did an ultrasound, and out of the ultrasound they said my prostate looks slightly enlarged. And so when I went to do my exam, the doctor says, "Oh, it's normal." I went to a second doctor to get a
Yeah.
second opinion. And that's what you do. You have to be
Yeah.
responsible and take charge of your health, because nobody else is going to do that for you. I see our nurse, Rosalind Carbon, is in the house. She just made a comment. She was, when we started doing this health series, Rosalind was still working as a nurse in New Jersey, and she used to join me on the program as my co-host, and I would have an interview with the doctor or whoever specialist we had, because obviously somebody who's in the field will know the better questions to ask. So good night to you, Rosalind, all the way in Dominica. It's good, always good, a pleasure to have you on. All right, so Patrick, it's 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
Um, I think we had a really great and honest conversation. Just two men having a conversation, encouraging our fellow men
Yeah.
to really take responsibility for their health. We're not medical professionals. We're just two men
That's
who
right.
happen to like to take responsibility for our health outcomes. And so I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come off. If there's any additional thing that we haven't spoken about, that or something we spoke about that you think may be a repeating, please go ahead as you do your closing remarks.
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come out and speak out about prostate cancer. As we've said, it's something that men don't talk about that much. I want to re-emphasize for men that early detection is key. You gave the story about your friend who heard you, went to get checked and found out that he had to do surgery. He had to have it checked right away. So it's important that our men, I appeal to them again, especially this month, to get your prostate checked. Do your PSA, do your DRE. In Dominica, the PSAs are at a reduced price during this month, so please take advantage of it. Please contact the Cancer Society if you have any questions or you need further information on something. They can give you the number for the men within the support group, and we are always willing to spend as much time as possible with you, whatever time you need, and be honest and open with you about prostate cancer and how to handle it. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, and you're very, very welcome. Like I said, this forum is available. Um, so when in preparing for the program, I read up a little bit on the prostate gland.
Mm.
So the prostate gland, they said it's small, the size of a walnut, um, and it has multiple functions. One of the functions is the production of semen, that 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 carries the sperm out of the body. So the prostate is functional in that. It also is almost like a pump that takes part in ejaculation when a man is having an orgasm, and of course it helps in the production and regulation of male hormones such as testosterone and so on. And so men, it is so important that you keep your prostate healthy. Um, a lot, there's some of the shame and some of the fright that men have around taking care of your prostate is because the health of the prostate all translates almost directly to your sexual function. And so there is that benefit, man, that if you take care of your prostate, you are proactive, you find out what foods are harmful to your prostate, you find out what activities help your prostate, that it will, a healthy prostate is going to help you with your sexual function, your sexual health for a longer period into a greater age. So quite apart from helping you to survive or to early detect if there's anything going on that you can take care of it on time, it is also in your interest to take really good care of your prostate gland. And so one of the things you want to do is to go to your doctor at least once a year, so have some blood drawn, do your test for your PSA, have your doctor do a rectal exam so he can assure you, it's the assurance you want that everything is okay. It's the assurance you want that if anything is going wrong, you catch it early enough to be able to do something about it. So that is the mindset that you have to have. Not be afraid and wait for symptoms, but it's reassure yourself that your prostate is healthy, or that it's only a year ago you checked it. So if anything is going to go wrong, you will catch it early and on time and be able to do something about it. Again, the theme of tonight's program is early detection is the key to surviving prostate cancer. So Patrick, I want to tell you once again, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your openness and your generosity in terms of sharing your information. And you, you said you're 13 years surviving cancer. I wish you another, I don't know, 26, 39, I know, 13 times 2, 13 times 3, 13 times 4. I just wish you continued good health. And
Thank
so
you.
that's so because you do so much good work and you are so concerned about your fellow community members, your fellow citizens. So we admire folks like you who take the time to do that. So thank you for all you do. And thank you for coming on this weekend interview with me tonight.
Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Okay, good night. So folks, there you have it. The month of September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And the awareness part of it is, are you aware of the status of your prostate? Are you aware of the health of your prostate? When last did you do a test? Draw some blood, have your PSA tested so you can check the levels. Stop by your doctor office, let him or her do a quick rectal exam. As I said, the rectal exam doesn't even take 10 seconds. It's just a quick exam, but you live with this reassurance that everything is okay. Check that, and while you're at it, schedule a colonoscopy if you haven't had one in the last 4 or 5 years. If you are a man, 40 years and older, just plan to check on your prostate once a year. If you haven't done a colonoscopy, do your first one so you can set the baseline. And if everything is okay, you can repeat it in 4 or 5 years. Your doctor will guide you based on your family history, your conditions, and so on. So what I'm saying is average, but when you go to your healthcare provider, your doctor or your nurse, they will customize it for you and give you proper advice. So don't just take my word for it. Go check with your nurse or your healthcare provider. You live in Dominica where there is so much natural herbs and leaves and zebra, as we would say. Um, Enjoy it. Draw some tea in the morning, draw some tea in the evening. Help to take your pressure down and learn to relax. So, folks, my guest tonight was Mr. Patrick Henderson. He's a survivor of prostate cancer. He's also part of the Dominica Cancer Society. In the month of September, if you have a woman, I want you to use the month of September to make sure that the men in your lives, your fathers, your husbands, your brothers, your uncles, your nephews, make sure that they are that they know before the end of September, they know the status of their prostate. And many of you are listening, make sure that you know the status of your prostate, and the men in your life know the status of their prostate as well. And so I'm going to leave you until next week, Wednesday, when we have another episode of This Week in Interview. I want to thank you so much for staying. Oh, before I go, I'm from the village of Castle Bruce, and we had a tragic event that happened recently where a young man from Castle Bruce who was a helicopter pilot, a medic vac, he piloted the medical helicopter. I believe he's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he was flying to go pick up a patient, and his helicopter crashed and he died. Mr. Terry Jackson. So my condolences to all the folks. I have some of his immediate family members who are listeners to This Week in Interview. Folks, I wish you sincere condolences and my deepest sympathy to you. I want to also say good evening to my very good friend, Mr. Boston. He's originally from the village of San Sove. He also lost his wife like a week ago. I know the memorial services and so are taking place this Friday. And so condolences to you and your family as well. And anybody else who are suffering, or Roslyn as well. I know the Scabon. I know you lost a family member a couple of weeks ago also. So folks, it happens. And we know it's always due to happen when it happens. It's still painful. So accept our condolences. And those of you who are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries and reasons for living, congratulations and happy birthday to you and yours as well. Come back next week. I have a super exciting guest on next week. Very special guest on next week. I'm so looking forward to that conversation. I think even before we start, I'm going to schedule that we're going to do a 90-minute program next week because it's going to be a wonderful guest, special guest that we have on for next week. So make sure, I know you come back all the time, but make sure nothing keeps you away from Wednesday. It's going to be an extra special program. See you next week. Enjoy the weekend and stay safe.